Looking at our do now, we have David and Victoria are playing the integer card game. Draws a -6, a 12, and a -4. What is the sum of the cards in his hand? So we can come down here to use the number line to get our answer. I'll use an arrow diagram. We're going to start with -6. Takes me back 6. And move on to a +12, which is going to take me from +6. It would take me 6 to get back, and then 6 more. And then finally, we have a -4, which will take us there, take us back to 2. And so we get that our answer here is 2. Coming over here, which equation below represents the sum of David's cards? So we're going to use the 3 cards, -6, 12, and -4. And it's going to be equal to 2. So it's going to be answer choice C. Alright, let's flip on over and look at our aim for today. Alright, today's aim is that Kipsters will be able to describe integer sums using number lines. So as we come over here, we've just got a couple of examples of some number lines, and here we have positive addition of 2 plus 4. We can see that they've put in 2 different versions of the diagram horizontally and 2 versions of the diagram using the vertical diagram. So here we see the loop method. That is the method that we took, counting up and counting down. We also see the arrow diagram represented here as well. We don't really need to do both, but we can. Here we have a vertical diagram, a vertical number line. One thing that we notice about this is that even within the counting method, they're counting by 2s over here, looking at the scale of our number line. But they also use the arrow diagram method as well. So for each example to the left, what is the distance between 2 and the sum? So we're looking for the difference between here, 2, and the final here, which ended up being 6. And so what we can see here is that we're seeing that relationship as we look at the equation itself, is that the difference here is that 4. It's whatever was changed there. So the difference here is that 4. The difference is 4. That's the distance between those two things. Does the sum lie to the right, or does it lie to the left on the horizontal number line? So as we're looking over here on the number line, should be drawing the idea that we're adding 4 to that 2, and so that should be moving it to the right. And we can see that on the number line. And a vertical number line, that means it's going to move it to the up. It's going to move it upward. All right, so horizontal, because we're adding a positive, it moves it to the right. And for vertical, because it's positive, it's going to move it up. Alright, given the expression 54 plus 81, can you determine, without finding the sum, the distance between 54 and the sum? Okay, so when we think about this, we see that we're adding 81 here. That's going to be the difference between the 54 and whatever that answer is. So 81 is what's being added. 81, that's what's being added. Alright, is the sum to the right or left of 54 on the horizontal number line? So when we're looking at it, is the sum, okay, so we're looking at our final, and if we have 54 and we're adding 81. It's a positive 81. So we're going to be moving forward to the sum. So that's going to mean that the sum is going to be to the right. Or if it's vertically, it's going to be upward. Alright, now given the expression 14 plus negative 3, can we determine without finding the sum the distance between the 14 and the sum? So the distance is going to be whatever we're moving over here. Now, careful here, it uses the word distance. It doesn't necessarily tell us which direction. It's asking for the absolute value difference here. So the distance is 3. Because that's how much it's being changed. That's the amount to count to the left. It's going to be the length of that arrow that we're moving from 14. If the sum is the sum to the right or left. Now this time we've got the 14 and we are adding a negative 3, which means we're going to be moving backwards. So the sum is going to be to the left. We're on a vertical number line because we're negative. That means it's going to be downward. So looking at this, we're going to do one example on each side just so we make sure that we're understanding what it's asking us to do here. The first thing it tells us to do is to create a horizontal number line. Then it asks us to describe the sum using the distance from the start value. So the start value is negative 5. And the sum is going to be 3 units. And since it's 3 units of change, it's going to be moved 3 units to the right. So when we look at that, we're starting here at negative 5. And then we have 3 units to the right of negative 5. That's going to give me 2. Negative 2. Alright, so coming over here, it says write the equation using the number line, create an arrow diagram given the following information. So the p-value, what it's talking about here is the start value is 6, plus the sum is 15 units to the left. So if we're moving to the left, that means we are moving negatively of that p-value. Alright, so we're starting here at 6. And we're moving 15 units to the left, so 6 to here. That's going to leave me with 9 more negative to get all the way to the end here. And that's all we need to do. Alright, so go ahead and finish the rest of this on your own. And after you've paused this to get that done, come back and check in on your work. Let's get a quick check on our work here. Over on the left hand side we had these 2 problems to finish up. We can see that, again, looking here, these are just scalar values. They don't have a positive or negative really to think about because we're just talking about the distance between those 2 things, and we're using this information to give us our direction, to kind of make it positive or negative. So coming over here, we have 2 problems here. So looking at the first one, we have the start value is negative 7. It lies 5 units to the right. So moving to the right is going to make it positive. On the bottom we have the start value is negative 7, and the sum is 2 units to the left of the start value. So that means that we're getting a negative there. And what I'm seeing here is that I did not move this one 2 units to the left, so this is actually wrong. I moved it 2 units to the right. So I'm going to go ahead and fix this, move it over. Alright, so we should end up here at -9. Alright, so that's our work for today. Go ahead and flip on to your alone time work and finish that independently.